There is a very specific type of amnesia that happens between the ages of, say, 7 and 12. It's the commuter amnesia.
Mm.
You spend hundreds of hours of your life on a big yellow bus, bouncing around, staring at the back of a vinyl seat. And yet, if I asked you to recount specific details, it's mostly just a blur.
It's the absolute definition of a liminal space, isn't it? You're not at home, you're not at school, you are in transit. And usually the brain just, checks out, it hits autopilot to preserve energy.
Exactly. It is the dead zone of the day. But that concept, that dead zone, is exactly what our source material today is challenging. We're doing a deep dive into a narrative called Buster and the Secret Safari Route.
Right.
And look, on the surface, it looks like a standard kid's adventure story.
Yeah.
But once you actually get into the mechanics of it, it's doing something much more sophisticated. It's proposing that this dead zone of the daily commute is actually the most fertile ground for learning we have.
That's what caught my attention immediately. This isn't just a story about a magic bus. It's a framework for what educators call contextual learning.
Hmm.
It takes the most mundane, repetitive environment possible, the school run, and just overlays high-stakes problem-solving onto it. It forces everyone to wake up from that autopilot you mentioned.
So our mission today is to unpack exactly how it does that. We're going to break down the timeline, which is incredibly precise, by the way. We're going to look at the Safari Surprise itself, and then analyze the specific scientific principles like gravity and ecosystem balance that are woven into the plot.
And it's not just about a bus growing wings, it's about how you apply theoretical knowledge when the pressure is on.
And honestly, the pressure is surprisingly high for a Tuesday morning.
It really is.
So let's set the stage. The source material is very, very disciplined about time. We aren't just in the morning. We are at 7:12 a.m. The bus, Buster, rolls into Maplewood Lane.
That precision 7:12 a.m. is so crucial. It grounds the fantasy in a rigid reality. If the story just said one morning, it feels like a fairy tale. But 7:12 a.m. implies a schedule. It implies consequences for being late.
And the sensory details the text provides here are, well, they're grimly realistic.
Oh, they are.
You have the cheerful HONK, which is the only nice part. But then you get the interior, the sticky seats, the crumbs from snacks that I'm pretty sure have been outlawed, and then my personal favorite detail, the mysterious glitter.
The glitter is such a fascinating touchstone. It represents the chaos of childhood. You can never get rid of it. It's like embedded in the upholstery of life.
It really is. So you have this gritty, crumb-filled reality. The passengers are Maya, Theo, and Jamal. They're buckled in. They're expecting the usual grind. But then we hit the trigger point, 7:1 scene a.m.
5 minutes later. And this is where the narrative pivots. And notice the mechanism of the transformation. It's not a magic spell. There's no wizard. It's mechanical. The text describes Buster's wheels tucking in and the windows shimmering.
It feels more like science fiction than fantasy, doesn't it? Like a transformer.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It keeps the vehicle as a machine, just a more advanced one. And Buster whispers, which, is terrifying if you think about it in real life.
Oh, absolutely.
Welcome to the Secret Safari Route.
If my car whispered to me, I'm tucking and rolling out the door.
Yeah.
But for these kids, this is the invitation. And then they hit the transition point, the glowing tunnel made of vines. Now, I want to pause on this for a second, because usually portals are these, abstract swirls of light. A vine tunnel feels very specific.
It is specific. It acts as a bridge. You are leaving the concrete asphalt world and entering the organic world. The tunnel literally surrounds them with nature before they even arrive. It primes the brain for the environment shift.
And what a shift it is. They pop out the other side, and suddenly suburbia is gone. They are in a sunny savanna. The description is vivid zebras, giraffes. But there is one detail that the source includes that I find. Well, it's a choice.
Yes.
The elephants are wearing sunglasses.
The sunglasses.
Now, I have to ask you, from a narrative perspective,
Yeah.
why? Is it just to be cute? Because it risks making the whole thing feel like a cartoon?
It's a risk, sure, but I think it serves a very specific cognitive function here. It's called disarming the learner. If you drop a kid into a hyper-realistic survival scenario, their brain might go into anxiety mode. Oh no, lions, danger.
Right, fight or flight.
Exactly. But when you put sunglasses on the elephant, you are signaling this is a safe space to explore. It blends the reality of the savannah with the safety of play.
So it's a signal that the stakes are high, but not get eaten high.
Precisely. It creates a kind of magic circle where the rules of reality are slightly bent, which actually makes the mind more open to learning. It engages curiosity rather than fear.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they're about to need that curiosity. They land, and Buster announces, Safari Surprise.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a sightseeing tour. It's a crisis.
Right. And this is where the story shifts from just adventure to problem solving. It's a Tuesday, remember? But they are approached by a frantic meerkat.
The universal symbol of panic.
And the meerkat brings the news. The watering hole is drying up. Now let's just pause and look at what the text is doing here. It's introducing a massive ecological concept resource scarcity, but framing it as a narrative emergency. The text explicitly says water is essential for animal survival.
It's raising the stakes. It's not just that the pool is closed, it's that the entire ecosystem is about to collapse.
Correct. The whimsy of the sunglasses falls away, and the reality of the ecosystem takes over. The balance is broken. And the kids, Maya, Theo, and Jamal, are the only ones who can fix it.
This is the part that I think is most relevant for anyone listening who's interested in how people learn. Because the kids don't just use magic, they use a process. It's basically the scientific method, isn't it?
It is exactly the scientific method, just disguised as an adventure. Look at the breakdown of labor. Maya takes the lead first. She uses her binoculars.
Observation. Step 1.
She spots the water source upstream. She gathers data. She isn't guessing. She's looking for the root cause. Then you have Jamal. He identifies the specific anomaly. He sees the fallen branches blocking the stream.
So Maya finds the where, and Jamal finds the what.
Exactly. They've identified the variable that has changed. But knowing what is wrong isn't the same as knowing how to fix it. And this is where the story delivers its heaviest pedagogical punch. It's Theo's moment.
I love this moment for Theo, because we have all been there, sitting in a class, listening to a teacher explain something abstract, thinking, when am I ever going to use this?
And Theo answers that question. He has an aha moment. He explicitly recalls a lesson from science class. He remembers that water flows downhill because of gravity.
Now, playing devil's advocate here, isn't that a little basic? Water flows downhill. Do we really need a safari adventure to teach us that?
That's a fair critique, but I'd argue it's not about teaching the definition of gravity. Most fourth graders know gravity makes things fall. The lesson here is about application. Theo realizes that because of gravity, they don't need a pump or some complex machine. They just need to remove the obstacle, and this natural force will do the rest. He's engineering a solution.
That's a really good distinction.
Yeah.
It's the difference between knowing a fact and using a fact as a tool. He sees the blockage and thinks, if we move that, gravity wins.
Precisely. It's knowledge transfer, taking information you learned in one context, the classroom, and retrieving it in a totally different one, the Savanna. That is the gold standard of learning.
So they have the theory. Gravity is their friend. But they still have a physical problem. Those branches are heavy. And this brings us to the execution phase, the collaborative solution.
And the composition of this team is worth noting. It isn't just the kids. The source makes a point that they recruit the local wildlife.
Right. They get Zippy the zebra and Ella the elephant.
Who is described as thoughtful, which implies she isn't just brute force, she's considering the problem too.
But then we have to talk about Buster, because this is where the story takes a leap that I struggled with a little bit. Buster, the bus, reveals he has extendable shovel arms.
Yes, really, as the text cheekily points out.
Right. So my issue here is, isn't that kind of a cheat? I mean, if the bus has giant shovel arms, why do they need the kids at all? Why didn't Buster just fix it?
That is the classic Deus Ex Machina complaint. But look closer at the sequence of events. Buster doesn't suggest the solution. Buster doesn't identify the blockage. The kids do all the cognitive work. The kids come up with the gravity strategy. Buster only deploys the arms after the plan is formed.
So Buster is just the tool. He's the crane operator.
Exactly. If the kids hadn't realized the water needed to flow downhill, the shovel arms would be useless. It reinforces that technology, even magical bus technology, is only as good as the operator's strategy.
Okay, I'll buy that. It preserves the kids' agency. So they rig up this whole operation. You've got the zebra, the thoughtful elephant, the kids directing, and the bus with robot arms. It's a massive collaborative effort.
It is, and it underscores one of the key life lessons the text wants to convey. Working together solves big problems. No single individual in this story could have cleared that stream. The elephant is strong but can't grip. The bus has arms but no brain. The kids have the brain but no strength.
The puzzle where everyone holds one piece.
And when they put the pieces together,
Yeah.
success, the blockage moves.
Oh.
And the text does a great job with the sensory payoff here. It doesn't just say it was fixed. It describes the sound. Trickle, trickle.
Anticipation.
And then SP-ash, the release of tension. The water returns.
And the reaction from the animals is crucial too. The cheering. The hippo's clapping, which the text notes is very loud.
Which is a hilarious image, physically speaking.
It is. But emotionally, it's the reward loop. They applied knowledge, they worked together, and they got immediate, tangible feedback. They saved the ecosystem.
And that feedback loop is what makes the lesson stick. If you just get a grade on a paper, that's abstract. If you see hippos swimming because of what you did, that's a core memory.
So, mission accomplished. The ecosystem is restored. But looking at the clock, they are still on a school run. They can't just stay and party with the zebras.
No, the timeline is brutal. Buster gives a beep, he drops a safari fact, just to reinforce the educational value one last time, and then they have to bail.
They shoot back through the vine tunnel, the transition reverses, and they roll up to the school at 7:29 a.m.
Okay, so let's do the math on that. They entered the tunnel at 7:17. They arrive at school at 7:29. That is a total elapsed time of 12 minutes.
12 minutes to travel to a savanna, diagnose a hydrological crisis, engineer a solution with heavy machinery, and travel back.
It creates a pocket universe, a fold in time. The text says no one even noticed they'd been on a wild adventure. It happened in the margins.
Which usually, in stories like this, leads to the "it was all a dream" trope, right? The kid wakes up and is drooled on the seat.
Right, and that trope can be so frustrating because it invalidates the whole experience. It says none of this mattered. But this source material avoids that trap. It gives us the souvenir.
Sticker.
The tiny zebra sticker on Maya's shoe.
I love this detail. It's the Inception spinning top. It tells the reader, this was real.
It anchors the fantasy. It suggests that while the adventure was secret, the impact is physical. You carry the evidence back with you. It validates the learning. If the sticker is real, then the lesson about gravity is real, and the lesson about teamwork is real.
So when we zoom out and look at this whole thing, not just as a story, but as a piece of educational philosophy, what are we really looking at?
We are looking at a dual curriculum approach. The text is very explicit about its takeaways. It divides them into science and life.
Let's recap the science side first.
It's the fundamentals. 1, gravity influences water flow. 2, animals rely on water for survival. 3, ecosystems are fragile. These aren't just trivia, they are the plot drivers. You can't understand the story without understanding these concepts.
Which is a much better way to learn than just memorizing a list.
Absolutely. Narrative indexing. You remember the story, so you remember the science.
And then the life side.
Working together solves big problems, and the one that I think resonates most, knowledge from school can help in real-world situations.
That's the sales pitch to the kids, right? Pay attention in class, because you never know when a meerkat might need you.
It validates the entire educational system. It tells the child that the information being put in their head has value outside the classroom walls.
And the source sums this all up with the phrase, adventure and learning go hand in hand.
Which is just a lovely philosophy. It suggests learning is inherently adventurous. It's about discovering how the world works.
I think it also reframes the mundane. We started this deep dive talking about the boredom of the commute. But this story argues that if you look at it right, even a bus ride has potential.
It encourages a mindset shift. It asks you to look for the unknown in your routine.
Which brings us to the final interactive element of the source. Buster doesn't just drop them off. He leaves the reader with a prompt.
He honks. We can't forget the honk, and asks, if your school bus had a secret destination, where would it go?
And he lists some options. The rainforest, the Arctic, outer space.
And he suggests you draw the bus and name an animal co-pilot.
I've been thinking about this. And I challenged you on the shovel arms earlier, but if I'm designing my own bus, I think I'd go for something aerial. Like the bus deploys gliders.
Oh, interesting. Where are you going with these gliders?
I'm thinking the canopy of the Amazon.
Yeah.
You get a completely different perspective on the ecosystem from up there. What about you? If you could take the deep dive bus anywhere.
I think I mentioned this before, but I'm sticking to it. I want to go microscopic.
Oh, right. The magic school bus style.
But specifically into the soil.
Yeah.
We talk so much about what's above ground. I want the bus to burrow. Let's look at the root systems, the mycelial networks.
That is incredibly on brand for you. You want to analyze the fungal network.
It's the internet of the forest. Imagine the lessons on connectivity we could pull from that.
And who's your co-pilot? You need someone who can handle the dirt.
A mole. But a mole with a headlamp and a map.
Of course, a cartographer mole.
Essential for navigation.
See, but that's the beauty of the prompt. It forces you to engage. You have to imagine the destination, the vehicle modifications, the companion. It keeps the story alive in your own head.
It transfers the creative power from the author to the audience. It says, okay, I showed you how the safari works. Now you build your own. It's active participation.
So that is our challenge to you, the listener. You might not be on a school bus anymore. You might be on a subway or in your car or walking your dog. But look at your routine. Look at that 20-minute gap in your day where you usually just zone out.
And ask yourself, what if the road curved? What if the tunnel glowed?
What knowledge are you carrying around right now? Stuff you learned in high school or in a meeting or on a deep dive like this that could save the day if you suddenly ended up in the Arctic.
Or the deep ocean.
Or the fungal network.
Exactly. The potential for application is everywhere. You just have to be willing to see the glitter.
And maybe check your shoe for stickers.
Always check the stickers.
Thanks for riding along with us on this deep dive. We'll see you on the next route.